It's your destiny to greatness with Dr. C and Brothers Keeper. Today, where we've been, where we're going, and Friday trivia. And now, here are Dr. C and Brothers Keeper.
Ladies and gentlemen, talking today about the subject, Jesus I'll Never Forget. And it seems like sometimes in our lives that we will have those moments when we forget about the goodness of Jesus and all that he has done for us.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we forget when things are not going the way we want them to go.
Yes, not necessarily, if I may, Dr. C.
Go right ahead.
Not necessarily going the way they should be going. As you say, the things are not going the way we want them to be going. But many times what we want ain't necessarily what we need.
That is true. And it may be premature. Even if it's something that is for us, we may be trying to go about it either the wrong way or to access those things a little bit premature.
Yeah, to have lack of patience.
Oh, patience.
Yes.
That's a virtue.
And many times it's going our way the whole time. But because we don't have the understanding or the foresight to see it coming,
right,
and we forget the ways of Jesus, and we take on our ways, and many times they get us all botched up.
Oh yeah, and that has the potential to deter us or derail us from our journey. But when you were saying that, just before that, in reference to we wanting it our way, sometimes we think that things are not going right for us because we may not be getting the accolades that we think we should, or we may not be progressing as fast as we should. But sometimes there's some stumbling blocks that come along the way. And they're not to get us off course, but to help strengthen us a bit.
Yes. And some people may view it as a negative thing. But as you said, Dr. C, they're there to help us grow. And I call it our seeds of wisdom.
Well, I'll admit, there has been instances, more than one, where I thought a certain way was not in my best interest, or I thought it was negative because could be things that people were saying, or things just didn't seem to be progressing the way I wanted them. I wanted them to progress. But then, Brothers Keeper, I had the moment of my life when I remembered that God knows where I am. He knows my name. He hasn't forgotten me. And if something is going on that seemingly is negative to me, if he's allowing it, then he's sure going to be there and help me to make it through.
Yes, and as we speak about remembering Jesus and all the things that he went through and all the suffering, it should jar our memory and allow us to understand how much he loved us. He died for us with the notion that some of us, because we got free will, would not even understand why he did it.
Wow. So I know in our conversations prior to this, you were talking about Jesus and not forgetting how he lived and died for us. Because when I focus on that, then that makes my trials and tribulations pale in comparison.
Yes, because I've had instances, and I'm pretty sure you have too, something go wrong and the first thing, why me, Lord? But sometimes you get an answer back. You said, why not you?
Yes.
And I'm telling you, it brings out some revelation then. And then it carries you back to all that Jesus went through and he suffered. And as you said earlier, what we go through doesn't even compare. We have no reason even to be complaining if we try to compare what he went through to our, as you said on the previous show, our short-term issue. It doesn't even compare.
Wow, so true. Well, that gives us something to think about and to begin to put ourselves and our lives in perspective. with the Lord. So he's there. He's always been there. We just need to make sure that we don't forget that he's there for us, and he has our best interest in mind and heart and hand. So take a little moment to think about Jesus and what he's done for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have the closest relationship, but if you are watching this show today, that means that he's done several things just today, because he's allowed us to live a little while longer to be able to get things right with him. So take a moment, and when we come back, we're going to delve a little bit deeper into Jesus I'll never forget. It's all about Jesus. There's nothing we can do, say, think that he doesn't know about. Nothing. And then if we bring it on down and make it personal to us all, that accident that we either just made it through, didn't get there in time, or he brought us out, that was God. We can't forget that. Because if we're here to talk about these things, when there's so many people who are not, that's wonderful. That's special. That's a gift that he has given us.
You know, Dr. C, you speak of accidents. And many times things that happen, and it's not, as you said earlier, to hinder us, it's to help us. But at that moment, you can't see it. And, of course, you know I've had a few accidents.
Yes.
And after I had a chance to dig into my psyche and think about the situation, there was those moments where maybe I was moving a little too fast, or I was moving aimlessly. And it had to be a halt put in place because I couldn't seem to see it. So there was a halt so I could stop, regather my thoughts, and, like I say, suffer a little. And all suffering ain't bad. It's not comfortable, but it ain't bad. It's all to help us.
Sometimes, if we're suffering for the Lord.
Yes.
But when we're suffering for ourselves, then
without him,
it just kind of is what it is, and we're saying, Lord, have mercy on me. Because as you were talking about, sometimes we have to be brought to a halt. My mind just went back to my senior year in high school. Spring break, which was supposed to have been a very good time. However, the Lord put a halt to me being able to reach my destination. And there was a head-on collision. That part wasn't my fault.
Yes.
But had I not been on my way to where I should have been going, I know that wouldn't have happened. But even in that, the Lord loved me so much to keep me from getting to that destination, because had I gotten there, it probably wouldn't have turned out well at all. So I looked at it like that.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was saying about my accidents. After a few days went by and you have time to sit there and ponder on what's going on, and you can commune with the Lord a little while, then things become a little clearer. You're like, okay. And then people are like, man, you getting along so well, you ain't complaining. If you knew like I do, you'd understand why I'm not. And then after my mindset get right, bounce back up, don't complain, keep it moving.
But I can't forget those situations and those instances, and just where even in my wrong, Jesus still loved me enough to say, well, I'm going to give this girl another chance. I'm just going to do that. Because, I mean, I can remember now the hands and how Jesus had this hedge around me. And he was just, I'm sure it was like shaking his head like, no, this is not you. This is not what I want for you. So I'm going to allow certain things to come into your life to help you get closer and come to me.
Give you a little shake up.
Yeah.
Sometimes, as you say, we get complacent and everything's going well and that's all good, and we'll start getting a little more free will.
Sure. And then there could be some of you who are thinking that I cannot forget how the Lord kept my children.
Yes.
Because whether it's children or family members, and I just know that, especially those who are out of the ark of safety, and the Lord, he just continues to keep them just a little while longer. And I can't forget that. It's not that I'm so good or even they are so good, but the Lord, he loves us.
Yes, and you were speaking about taking care of your children, and I know many of us, we're on our grandmothers and our mothers and fathers' prayers, because when we're first starting out, we're doing everything that we got no business doing, and then it's just because of their prayers is that carried us through for us to be able to be halted and still be safe.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to listen to the Lord and start to go to where our destined path is.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that nothing will happen to us, but he keeps us even when we don't even want to be kept.
Yes. Loves us when we're not so lovable.
Yeah, exactly. My goodness. That's powerful, and it definitely makes me feel good to think that Jesus loved me so, that he endured everything, and little old me who didn't deserve to live, he kept me for his purpose.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons, Brother Keeper, I work very hard to please the Lord, because I know that I'm here. I don't doubt. I know that I'm here for a purpose and a reason, and that is to glorify him.
Yes, and as we remember all the things that Jesus did, that he suffered and died for us, those great things he did in comparison to the little things that we complain about sometimes.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And you're leading right into our last point for today. Jesus, I'll never forget how you kept my mind.
Yes.
Keeps our minds in perfect peace if we keep them stayed on him. There's things in your life and our lives that some people say should have, but I'm going to say could have, because if it should have, then it would have taken us out. But could have taken us out, but he kept our minds. Even for a while, we were out there. And I don't mean anything bad or negative, but I mean far as our minds, where we couldn't think straight. We either wanted to harm somebody, harm ourselves, or we just didn't care, didn't keep our hygiene up. All these different things, but then the Lord stepped on in and said, wait a minute. You are blessed. You are chosen. You belong to me. Get yourself together. Things are happening to you, yes, but look at all that happened to me, and I never once lost my composure. So, Brothers Keeper, we said we want to be like Jesus. Yeah, we need to be like him and learn of him, so that we'll continue to have that mindset to trust and to serve.
Yes, and if I could say this, that and learn to be more like him, as you were talking earlier, we be able to be like him on the good days as well as the bad.
Come on, yes.
Because the good days strengthen us to be able to bear the bad. Because all that Jesus bore, as I said earlier, is no comparison to the things that we think we bear.
It is not. And sometimes it seems as though challenges just continuously come, and sometimes there's so many it's almost difficult to be able to juggle them, and that's why we just have to focus on Jesus. And it's something about this patience thing, and I know Jesus is very patient with us. So even today, I was on the phone trying to take care of a matter, and kept having to hold, and then when I went a little further to take care of it, that wasn't ready, and I was like, wait a minute, what is going on? And just when I wanted to give up and just hang up the phone, because that wouldn't have hurt them, it would have hurt me, I was the one who needed the service, and then I just started calming down and said, thank you, Lord.
Yes,
Thank
I've had
you.
those moments. And you just have to laugh about it, because I thank the Lord that he will impart that wisdom in us at that moment. Hey, come on now. You're in practice.
Right.
You're practicing for this eternal life. Come on now. Sure, every now and then you'll miss a step, but get back in rhythm.
Yeah.
And I'll laugh about some things that I'll go cardinal for a second. And before I'd be cardinal for 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden, It went to 19, 18. It was a process. Now I think about something crazy for a few seconds and it's like, nah.
Yeah, because we don't want to be in that state.
No. And things, as I stated earlier, thought this a whole lot better. Well, it ain't that the things change. We see them different.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're still the
Exactly.
same. We just take it different.
Right. Because we remember
Yes.
Jesus and all he's done for us. That's where we want you to be today. And not just today, all days. Start remembering Jesus and what he's done and what he is doing. You know the song, count your many blessings, name them one by one. When things get so difficult that you don't want to even hold your head up, just start counting your blessings. He woke me up this morning. He allowed me to be able to make it. I know I can, just as long as I keep my mind on him. Say it with us. Jesus, I'll never forget. So we're coming back. We're not going to forget that Brothers Keeper has a trivia question for us all. So you stay right there. Stay right there and we'll be back.
Okay, we're back. And as promised, it's time for our Friday trivia. But of course, we're going to give you a little bit Bible story beforehand. As we were talking about remembering Jesus and all the good things he had done, it allows us to understand how good God is to us. And if we understand how good God is to us, when the enemy comes, sometimes we have to speak up on God's behalf, which he doesn't need our help, but it's showing our faith in him that we're willing to stand up for whatever is going on with God. Well, we had a king, King Nebuchadnezzar. He thought that he was the best in the land. So he got his people to make an idol of him. And he had a decree that at a certain point when he got them to play music with the cymbals and different instruments, at that moment, everyone should kneel and show homage to the golden image that he had made. Well, we had 3 Jewish boys who understood that they were not supposed to be worshiping any god before our God Almighty. So they stood their ground. And in the process of doing so, he said anyone that wouldn't do it would be thrown in a fiery furnace. My question today is, what is the name of those 3 Jewish boys that were thrown in the fiery furnace?
Okay. Very good. What was the name of the 3 Jewish boys who were thrown in the fiery furnace?
Yes.
All right. Very good question. While you were going through and given that connection through the word, I was thinking that we have to be prepared to be thrown in a fiery furnace. Not necessarily someone's going to open up a big old heater and throw us in, but the difficult times, the hot times, the times that kind of make us, a little warm on our neck and our ears because we're standing up for what it is that we know and we believe. And it's high time that we plant our feet solidly on sound gospel and stand fast in Jesus Christ, because there will come a time when we're going to be tried because of our faith. So that's a good story when it's talking about what those gentlemen's names was, but you have a name too. And if you trust and love Jesus and you do what's right even when it's not popular, you will also be thrown in that fiery furnace. But the same way that Brothers Keeper said that those gentlemen were not singed because Jesus stepped on in, he'll step in for you as well. So think on yourself in your life as you're coming up with the answer to today's question. What was the name of the 3 Jewish boys who were thrown into the fiery furnace? Get that answer in by tonight, 11:59
p.m.
Definitely. And you can email them to your.destinytogreatness@gmail.com. Health, wealth, and beauty. Health, wealth, and beauty.
All right, now it's time to get fit. Because our bodies are temples, we need to be in the best shape and health that we can possibly be. Let's exercise, drink plenty of water, cut back on the snacks, and eat less fried foods. We can do it. Let's work together and encourage each other to reach our healthy selves. Ready, set, go.
It's just me thinking again. Have you ever noticed that many times the person or persons that we have the most difficulty with communicating with, getting along with, is our family, be it our natural family or our church family or our work family? So how about the other day I was reading something and it was so overwhelming when I read it that maybe I'd figure I'd share it with you. It said, if you could see through my eyes, then you would understand me. But since you can't, how about I see if I can understand you? In saying that, how about we take a chance on figuring out what's going on with another person and stop so much worrying about what's going on with us? Let's see if we can extend that olive branch of love, and maybe we can get them to see it our way once we figure out how to see it their way. We get that happy medium so we can get some love going, that agape love flowing, so we all can get along, because life is too short to live in conflict. It's just me thinking again.
We are destined for greatness.
Trust in God. We don't have to turn somersaults, do cartwheels. We just need to actually trust. When we can't see a thing, we just have to believe that it's coming. When our backs are up against the wall, just trust that God will make a doorway into that particular wall. Hold on, hold to your faith. Don't waver. And I promise the Lord will make a way. So as you're walking towards your destiny, don't go ahead of God. Stay with Him.
We are destined for greatness.